You may be feeling a certain type of way on how money is distributed throughout society. I mean, how is it that some people are born into wealth whilst others have to toil just to meet basic necessities? I mean, maybe you're a guy who's working a regular job who is seeing this kid on YouTube making bank, and these other women selling themselves on adult websites and making over 6 figures a year. And by the way, this goes for both genders, because maybe you're a woman who's working long hours, sat in front of a computer, just stressed out of your mind, and you've got Bob, Billy and Darren who are accidentally squeezing your melons as they breeze past you. And you just feel like you've had enough of this torture of the working environment, and you look for ways to try to get out of this rut. But the issue with both of these scenarios is that you start to develop a relationship with money, that money is bad. And with that comes the limiting beliefs surrounding money. And you may deep down resent other people for having more money or success, as you feel that they're above you in a sense. And I'm sure there is this misconception that there is a correlation between how smart you are versus how much money you make, when there's actually not as much of a correlation as you think. And you would have probably seen this already in life, where there are some people who deep down know that they don't deserve to be the position that they're in, whether that's them being born into wealth or having no particular talent, but they just got lucky in one instance. And this could cause this sort of cognitive dissonance within yourself. And as you grow older, you begin to see that people treat others differently based on their level of success and how much they've accomplished in life, versus those that have nothing to show for. Because logically it makes sense, right? Because money is technically a medium of exchange and value. And people are naturally going to treat you differently if they see you as someone who's financially well off and quote unquote valuable in society's eyes. But here's the issue, right? What one person might find valuable might sound flat out insane to another. Like for me, the idea of buying an antique clock just doesn't make any sense to me. Whilst another person can see the same item and can see that as a gold mine, which could be auctioned for, say, £1,000. And the same thing can be said with people's behaviors with spending money. Because one person may be more carefree with their money, who may not have much of an emotional connection with their bank account, and assume something is there when they go to purchase something. I mean, for instance, I know someone who's absolutely loaded, who doesn't see parking fines as fines, but rather bills that they don't mind paying without second thought, almost like a pay to service. But there are others who would be a little bit more frugal with their money and save wherever they can. Maybe their family came from poverty and had to toil for every single penny to live a happy, simple life, because they deep down understand the value of money and what it can provide. And with these sorts of individuals as employees, they know what their time is worth based on the hourly rate that they're getting paid. And this could be a good thing, but in my opinion, in a lot of cases, it's a bad thing, as this could cause anxiety on trying to weigh everything up in monetary terms. And the way every person views money is completely different. Some see money as an abstract way of freezing trust. So just for an example, imagine you've been regularly paying your mate some money for months now, and he's always paid you back, except this one day where he fails to do so. And because of this uncertainty, you decide to quote unquote freeze your financial trust, and you stop lending the money, because now you don't feel comfortable discussing financial matters until your friend pays you back. Others see money as a promissory tool, which essentially means that you leverage money as a promise that you can do something in the future for. Unfortunately for others, money may be acting more so as a drug, not chemically, but more so psychologically, as when they see their salary hit their bank account with that green font, it gives them that temporary high to make them happy for an instant. And it's been proven actually that the promise of someone saying that they're going to give you money doesn't really have the same effect as you actually receiving the money. So it's interesting that we design money for money's sake, knowing that it helps us get us what we want out of life. And we also all have a tendency to assign characteristics and purposes to different portions of our money. Because say for example, that money that you won in a bet is completely different to the money that you've actually worked for. And you're going to view that money that you've won in a bet as quote unquote free money, when in reality, it's not really true. And by the way, with everything that I've mentioned so far, there isn't exactly a right or wrong answer on how you should be spending or saving money. I mean, could you say that trip that you've taken abroad with a couple of your mates is a waste of money? Probably not, right? Because you've probably made some good memories, which you can look back when you're older. And it's also been proven, by the way, that investing your money into experiences will make you happy, as opposed to going down the retail therapy route and splurging your money on material goods. And I remember Gary Vee talking about our motivations as to the reasons as to why we want to purchase certain things which can be only bought by money. And he gave a very interesting example where when you see another person driving a nice car, you really think, oh, that guy in that car is cool. But rather, if I had that car, other people would think I'm cool. And let's be honest, in most cases, they probably have tinted windows, or even if it's an open convertible, you're probably not going to remember the guy at all. It's a subconscious thing on how humans actually think. And if you actually thought about it, there's actually a bit of a paradox here. Because individuals who intend on showing off their wealth do so to be liked and admired by other people. And in reality, those random strangers that are bypassing and admiring you, not necessarily because they admire you as a person and your wealth, but rather they use your wealth as a benchmark for their own desires to be liked and admired by other people. And what these individuals don't realize is that what they think they want is money, cars, and the watches. But what they truly deep down desire is the respect and the admiration from other people. And this can only be achieved by having a strong identity and a good character. Things that you can't buy with money itself. And along the same lines, your kids don't really want your money or what money buys you anywhere near as much as they want you. And it's a mistake that a lot of fathers make as they toil in the workforce in exchange for spending quality time with their kids. And these kids learn about finances the way their parents manage their own finances, which, as you can imagine, can cause this sort of generational cycle, if you will. And even the way we are taught about money in school is honestly quite underwhelming, since money quickly becomes one of the most important factors when it comes to your quality of life as you enter adulthood. Now, for this section of the video, I want to ask a very common question. Does money make you happy? Actually, let me rephrase that. Does winning the lottery make you happy? And by the way, you can feel free to leave your comments down below. And initially, a lot of people, including myself, would say yes, as it gives you the financial stability to be psychologically peace with yourself, whilst also having access to leisure and material goods which you may not have had otherwise. But there was also a study done on lottery winners and their impacts on happiness. And although these lottery winners had more security, time, and leisure, they were actually not much more happier than people who have not actually won the lottery. And there is also another side which no one really talks about, which is the public vilification that you would probably experience if you were to experience this extraordinary financial gain. Now, it sounds like I'm leaning on the side that money doesn't really make you happy, but it's actually quite the opposite. I would say if there was a spectrum, I would lean slightly towards money actually making you happy if you leverage money correctly by creating a sort of lifestyle which matches with your own brain chemistry and you're able to create a life which is fulfilling to you. Obviously, assuming that all your basic necessities are met beforehand. I appreciate you watching the video, and feel free to click on one of the videos on screen if you're interested.